Alright lads and lasses, welcome along. Tuppence Tuesday yet again. So I thought we'd have a chance to go on and have a look at the Power BI service. It's one of those areas, we're going through a lot of it now. You're starting to get your head around, what's kind of going on with Power BI, how does it all work, how's it all put together. So let's have a look. So what we've got over here in the Power BI service, it's pretty clear, isn't it? You've got your main areas. And there's three key areas in the Power BI service that you need to be thinking through in terms of actually what you're delivering and what's the delivery that's going to go on. So you've got your dashboards, which is like the top end. Here's your main area that you can look into. And what you want to be doing is you send people to your dashboards. So whatever you do, whatever you build, you send them to a dashboard, right? Dashboards can link to dashboards, which is great. Right? It is actually really useful when you start doing it in the real world. Okay? But the main thing that a dashboard is effectively, if you think of it as, that's the menu system, right? So your customers are coming in, they're going at the Power BI service to view their content, be it in the website now. Reports, they can be multi-page, so you can have like lots of areas of a report. But if you start to think through your data modeling, as we're going to go through a bit further on in this, it's a short video, right, you'll see drill is your friend in this. And also because you're going to start using drill and lots of reports as possible, potentially you want not lots of multi-page reports. Yeah, so pages for the sake of pages. And then lastly, you've got your models. So your models are going to have your direct data sources that you've got. It could be direct query even in there. A whole host of things, data flows. The main thing to think through with these is that these are reusable. These are your units of data access that people have, data models, right? And you can combine data models into things. Okay, so one data model can go into multiple reports, then from multiple reports, they can go into multiple dashboards. It's just like it goes on. And a data model can be made up of multiple things as well. So data points are kind of that central point. So you see data sources come in, and they hit that central point and then they expand out again afterwards. So it's kind of key to get your head around that. So what does that look like? So if we have a look at this right now, this is the New York taxi data set that we're going through and doing data stuff about at the minute. Yeah, week 3 is going to be on Friday, so hopefully you're all keeping up to date with that, right? As part of that moving forward though, you can see, we've gone in, we've got all this stuff pulled together here, so we can see actually all the sources that are coming in, going into a data source, and there's one source to each data source here that doesn't need to be, that can be multiple. We can see we've got here, we've got the calendar, which is just part of the data core. We can see this is external. We see there's no information for that, because if you remember the way calendar's been built, it's all built directly within the data flow, but it's all there and we can see it all flows through. Here's our data model, and then we've got a report. So what we'll do when we say, well, you were talking about having multiple reports, what's your problem, man? You're not very good at this rubbish, right? What we mean by that is if we go over here to Power BI desktop, and if I was to go like me file and new, get data, I want to get data from a Power BI data set, because Power BI's data set, these data models that we're talking about. So we do that and it pulls up, here's your list of reports that you can get access to, your data sets that you've got. Okay, so if I put in NYC, using the search feature that's there to help me find the right data set that I want, because honestly, as you get bigger and you've got more and more data in here, that can be difficult. We're just going to create that. And you see, I get a nice view. I've got all my calculations that we've got in there. I've got all my calendar. I've got all my stuff, right? So I could actually start to build a report here. I'm just going to pull one metric in here, right? Total fares. I'll tell you what, let's do total fares month year, yeah? Right? So I've got all my information. Brilliant. That's what I want to do. So I'm just going to go in here, hit publish, right? Publish it. So I've saved it. Now I get a chance to publish it, yeah? I'm going to publish it to New York taxis. Got it. Job done. Now if we go over to the Power BI service, you can see we've got 2 reports in there. So you can see I've just done that. Suddenly it's pulled in. Now we've got a second. We're looking at this live. You could have multiple. You could keep adding reports to here. So you end up with this almost like little bow tie style thing where everything comes into this data model and then everything goes out as it's used, right? really powerful, this Lineage view, as you start to do it. It looks great. It does a brilliant job of doing it because you can see everything that's coming in. It's all coming in here and everything that's coming out. Right, I've got all my refresh schedules that have gone through. It's all looking great. So where's next? What's the next thing that I need to be doing? What do I need to think through? What do I need to understand? The last piece of the puzzle is this, right? Now this is the store app, Power BI, right? So I can go in and I can say, right, in the settings of it down here, we can actually see in the options, I can set it to auto page refresh and I can set it up in slideshow, and it will then actually go through and show pages through it. And you can see, right, I can pick a report and play this report when we load it. So what do you think? Yeah? Does this all start to make sense to you? Yeah, the way this works, the way this all pulls together, right? Using all the apps and all the access points that you have for Power BI, it really makes it possible for you and for your business to actually excel within it, and you can actually do an awful lot very quickly, very easily, and more importantly with very minimal code. The ability to create those reports, those lightweight reports, I've always called them secondary reports. I'm going to struggle to change and call them anything else, right? Secondary reports, I'm sorry, right? It becomes very quick and very easy. Anybody can create a secondary report. It doesn't need to be high skilled. The nice thing as well is if you get your permissions right, in terms of how you do it, you can also actually use those secondary reports with row level security. So if you go, row level security, you couldn't possibly use, right? You can, because you're accessing that data set with your permissions. So really weird, right? I could produce a report based on what I can see, right? And depending on the filters I use, as long as I haven't used any stupid filters to enforce my view, if that makes sense, right? If I was to pass that on to somebody else, they would see that report but skewed around them. So if we think through like the incident management report, and that's a classic one where you've got a team. I'm a team leader, I've got my team, this is my team, right? We might have that all set up so I can only see tickets that relate to my team. My team can only see tickets that relate to war team, right? If I'm suddenly going to put that to somebody in a different team, right, they would be able to see the report, but it would be based around their team. And if I could say, but I found this really good way, if I do this and I do that, right, it makes my team, it's a really good way of actually presenting what goes on. My team finds it really useful. I can then share that. It's all part of it, right? And this is why Power BI is the platform that, for me, as a real supporter of data literacy, it just seems to tick so many boxes. There are obviously products out there that do similar, right? And they do a very good job as well. And it's just, in my experience, from what I've found, right, and I could be wrong. Point of data literacy is I'm quite happy to accept I could be wrong, right? It just ticks so many of the boxes, and it feels like it actually is I'm now able to deliver stuff that I've worked many, many years to try and deliver to people in a way that I couldn't do even 5 years ago. Heck, even 2 years ago, some of the stuff that's going on in Power BI now, we couldn't do in Power BI, like secondary reports. I remember the day they came and it was like, oh man, brilliant. Like 3 years ago, I think that was now, right? Just, yay, everything we needed arrived. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your week. Take care, everyone. Ta-da.